So yeah, this video is being specifically made for several people. Uh, Main person that I'm doing this for is for Joe, uh, the best man at my first wedding, and appropriately so that he should get this. Um, but the other piece of it is that I want him to know. Well, it's just tantamount that he knows. Let's put it that way. Very important to me and probably a whole lot of other people, just to know that the real truth, okay? The truth, which you get out of me. You ain't gonna get it anyplace else. You'll get it out of me. So here's the deal. Pause. Remember when I first met Herb Malkey? He came over to the house. Carol's Carol, I don't even know what Carol's last name is anymore. Can't remember Monica's last name too, of all people. I just cannot remember it. Jake is her dad. I can't remember her last name. If you can remember, text that over to me or send it to me. Just I gotta know what her last name was. Anyway, okay, back to the point at hand. Joe, first of all, I'm bringing up Mulkey for a reason. Are you aware that during that time that I was the first one to get the hell out of that situation? Because here's what happened. I was sitting there watching you guys, my wife, Herb, and I don't think you were, but you might have been, but definitely Herb was, and the girlfriends, like, I don't know if it was Monica that was with you at the time or Steph. I don't remember. I think that's sad about Steph. But now she's not in pain anymore, you know? So God bless her. I miss her, man. We used to have some really cool talks. I don't know if you knew that or not. Anyway, back to what I wanted to tell you. I was the first one to stop doing that freebase. I remember it distinctively. I know exactly what happened, what went down. I just, first of all, I didn't like the dependency feeling that I got, meaning I got to get another hit like that. And the problem with that is that you'll hit it and hit it and hit it in search of that high, and you don't usually get it except for once or twice. The key is, well, I'm not going to tell you what the key is. It's pointless, you know. But we hear people. Used to hear people talking about it in meetings all the time, you know. They like to beat their chest, like, I'm the worst addict here, you know, kind of thing. So that's at NA, not AA. Now, I'm not an alcoholic. I never drank alcoholically. I drank alcohol when the Coke was around, but that's it. Okay, so I was the first one to stop that. And I even said something. I said, man, I don't like how this feels. I don't like watching y'all doing what you're doing now because you're desperate. And how dare a drug make any of us desperate? We're bigger than that. We're more important than that. We ain't living out on the street. And I said, come on, man. So I that was it for me. I don't know what y'all did after that. I didn't even pay attention. So but I don't know if you knew this, but originally I was going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings and Cocaine Anonymous meetings and just a few AA meetings here or there for alcoholics. And so, the more time you get, the more clarity you have, and you can start making choices and decisions for yourself as to what meetings you're going to attend and which fellowship you're going to attend. And I migrated right to the alcoholics. Why? Because they have so much more time than NA and CA and all the other ones. Time meaning you're going to find people with much more time and much more wisdom at an AA meeting than you ever would at a CA meeting or an NA meeting, okay? And that's the bottom line. I mean, look, I've been in that program now ever since we quit. That would have been 86 for me. So from 86 to now, what is it, 48, 49 years, 44 years, something like that. So, literally, I'm still in the program. And since drugs and alcohol were never my problem. And I'm getting to more proof about this. 3 years into the program, Claudia and I are like the NA couple, right? We're always going to the same meetings and everything. And then the suggestion came at a step meeting, and we were together. And at this step meeting, for whatever reason, they were harping on making sure that you have your own meeting, that your wife, your spouse, your significant other isn't going to every single meeting with you, because it's going to be real hard to heal yourself if that person is still in the room. Because part of this problem is the relationship, okay, and how you've involved them or how they have involved you. So when a person in a family becomes an alcoholic or a drug addict, the whole family suffers, so the whole family has the disease in a fashion. And this is the things that we're opening up in the meetings that I started choosing to go to, and that's why it had so much more meaning than religion ever could. I'm dealing with specifics here, and religion is much more broad, and that's fine. I no longer believe in that written word because I don't know who wrote those words. Okay, do you know who wrote those words in the Second or First Testament? And of course, I go with the first. I don't bother with the second. Now, where was I going with this? Pause. Hold on. Okay, so we start going to different meetings, and I migrate over to Al-Anon, and I was having much more success in feeling self-comfort and accepting the things that have happened. And a light bulb went off in my head. An alarm bell, I should say, went off in my head. I was 3 years in. Once they gave me medicine for my ADD, my attention deficit disorder, I never wanted to touch cocaine again. Had no desire whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I looked at it as the enemy. Now, I didn't say that about weed. I said, for some reason, I told people, I said, maybe way in the future, in my 50s, 60s, I was in my 40s then or something like that. And I said to them, I'm not touching anything. I'm staying clean and sober, and I'm going to wait until I'm in my 50s or 60s when I retire. And if I decide that I want to smoke reefer then God damn it, I will. And I'm not going to fucking lose my time over it, okay? And if I do, then fuck all you all. So basically, what ends up happening after 3 years is I realize I'm not the problem, that she is. That I have chosen the wrong mate. That I should never have married her. We met in the middle of a drug deal, Joe, okay? And yes, I fell in love with her, but it was a whirlwind, get the ring on the finger and all this stuff. And we were pressed for one other thing. Joshua would not have been covered for his education unless he was born before Chief passed away. Well, here's Chief in the hospital. He's dying. He's going. And she was pregnant. Chief dies. And because Josh was conceived before Chief had passed away, they gave him coverage, but nothing for Sarah. Nothing for Sarah. Now, all this stuff, none of the children should ever have found out, but Claudia has been telling the kids this stuff for years in an effort to go against me. Okay, anyway, back to this. Joe, did you know that I came home many times, and I saw her drinking right out of the damn bottle, man, okay? Right out of the bottle. And, you know, that was pretty sick. And when you were dating Steph, what was she doing? She was coming up and hitting me for my narcotics, the stuff that I didn't like or didn't work for me anymore when I had kidney stones and one of the operations all together. You know, it was in the operating room 1 week, And less than a week later, I was in the operating room again for one of the two, either reconstructive surgery or to go in there. And I couldn't pass the stones myself, and they had to go in and retrieve it down through the head of the you-know-what. And that they put you out for. You're in the hospital for that. So anyway, where I'm going with this, she was the alcoholic, brother, okay? And like I said, I should never have married her. Never have married her, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be in this mess I'm in now. But guess what? You know what they say, hindsight is 20/20. You know, when you're behind something, you see it all, don't you? And that's what's happening now. You know, I'm just seeing everything and realizing all those mistakes I made and coming to the reality of watching and seeing and how my kids treat me today. And that's what has got me to entertain these thoughts that I'm passing on to you now, being that you were the best man at the wedding. This is not to say that you had responsibility here for anything at all. That was all me, bro. That was all me, all her. Nobody else to blame. This isn't a blame game thing, okay? That's not what this phone call's about, or this video is about. It's about telling it like it really was. It's about telling it for real, telling it, you know? Giving the truth to everybody before I die. So that's what I want to do. That's what I wanted to say. Right. And so when I realized that I'd married the wrong woman, and now she's pregnant, okay, with my second child, because Josh was already born when I went into the hospital. He was heading towards 3 years old, okay? And that's when I went into the hospital to get for the 30-day stint for cleaning myself up. And that's when I learned a lot of stuff about myself and why I was using what I was using. And so when I was given that information, I'm the type of person that knowledge is power, and I put that power to use, okay? And I use that knowledge to get me back on the road again. The reason why I went to the meetings, though, this is real important, Joe. The reason I went to those meetings was to restore my sanity, okay? Was to be able to cope with this mistake, this horrible mistake I've made that I'm stuck with. I said till death do us part, and I mean what I say. I mean, I wouldn't have married the girl had I known I was going to get divorced later on. Anyway, so are you seeing where I'm going with this, though, bro? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here, but Claudia was the alcoholic and the addict, not me. As a matter of fact, I've never been an alcoholic and I've never been an addict. Okay, fine. Maybe I made myself dependent on narcotics, but that doesn't make me an addict. An addict is a person who consciously makes the choice to get stoned or get high or change that mood. You know, they use drugs or alcohol to change their mood. And when that happens, click, there you go. There's the alcoholic. Another thing people don't usually get wrong is when you tell them you want to ask them, who's the alcoholic in this car? These guys, there's 4 of them. They've been drinking all night, okay? And 3 of them are passed out and one's driving. And, I'm sorry, there was 4 guys, okay? And one guy passes out and everybody else is still partying. Everybody else is pretty messed up. But the driver of the car seems, like he's fine, doesn't seem drunk at all. And so naturally we give him the keys and he's going to be our sober driver. But turns out that he's the alcoholic. You see, this is what people don't understand. They usually choose the first one that passed out, that's the alcoholic. That ain't the case. An alcoholic is clearly defined as somebody who can do drugs and alcohol and operate normally in our society without making any mistakes, maybe even acting better than they would have had they been sober and clean. Zeus, in and out, okay, buddy? Come on in. Okay, so anyway, This is a very important message I wanted to get to you. Sorry about it. It took me so long to get to the point. It always does because I deviate, and I do that because I'm in so much pain, man. So that's why I make all these movies, and it's so much easier for me to communicate this way. And you got this, and now you can save it and let other people hear it. And this is what I want you to do. I want John, the Marine, forget John O'Hare. I want him to know about me and what I did as a civilian. I want to blow that kid out of the water. Okay? You know, he and I have always had a rivalry. Always had. When I wanted to go out with his girlfriend, what was her name? Susan. That's when it all started. He got pissed off as hell. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, man, you broke up with her. You mean to tell me nobody here in this house can go out with her now? Or because I was the first one to try to jump in there, that I'm the worst of everybody? And that's what he made it seem, you know? He made it seem like I was the worst one there. And that, sir, is what's happened to all my life. That I'm the guilty one, you know? I got thrown out of every school, Joe, because I didn't ever start any fights, okay? Never. I never started any fights. What I did do was I finished them, okay? And, you know, the military got wind of that. And so, here I am. And anything that I say to you, you got to understand is from dreams. And these dreams have been so hardcore and so ugly that I had to look into them, figure out what they were, because they were frequent too, over and over and over again. Sometimes the same dream, and it's awful, man. It's just terrible of what I did and what I looked like coming out of the jungle and stuff. And oh my God, man, was that me? Yes, it was. But you know what? I was following orders. That ain't me now. I ain't got to follow no orders now. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Pass it around, pass it along, make sure our friends know. Oh, and Chris. I want Chris to know my story, that I was installing an alarm system for a 3-star at the Pentagon parking lot, and I got picked up by 2 GIs, hauled away as fast as I could, and they get me in the chopper and they say, Mr. Klein, we are so proud to meet you finally. Sir, we've been watching you all your life because we knew one day you would be a service to us. He says, what do you think? Would you like to do that? And I said, well, like and doing it shouldn't be in the same sentence. And I saluted to him. And I said, like to do it? No, I want to do it. Okay? I want to do it because I am a patriot for this country. And I will back our president up, even though it is Nixon. It doesn't matter. He's the one putting this thing forward to get our brothers at home. And maybe sisters too. We don't know who's there yet. There was so much bad paperwork and bad filing all through the Vietnam War. It was a mess. I've met so many people that went and did their thing, and they're walking around with one leg missing, and they don't get any VA insurance or backing up or help because the paperwork got screwed up somewhere along the line, and he gets nothing because it doesn't show that he was ever in. He's got no way to prove it other than the medallions he wears. So it's a tough world we live in. And I had to tell you this. You need to know that I wasn't allowed to talk about this. And then when I moved out here, and now here I am in my 70s, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to make sure people know about what the hell I did, because I'll be damned if I'm going to be put underground and never be told my story. And that's that, buddy. I should write a book, okay? I don't know how your book did, but I'm the one that should write the book, okay? My mother said that all through her life and all the stuff that happened to our family. It's almost like we have a curse, man. But you know what? We always get through it. And Mom always used to say, the Lord ain't going to give us any more than we can handle. And he does what he does to make us stronger. Because we may be in for something once we leave this planet. There may be something else going on somewhere that's been going on for thousands of years that we don't know a thing about. Because of the way we behave. Because we can't stop killing each other. Because we can't seem to get along. Anyway, that's it. I'm sorry it's such a long message, but I had to get this over to you, bud. And I'm going to send it over in a link. It's going to be a link from YouTube because I have my YouTube channel now. And this, of course, would be way too much information to text right over to you. So I'm not going to do that, of course. But I'm going to also use this for some other people, Joe. And I'm just telling you that now up front because it's so a common of a thing, what you and I are going through, that I've gone through it with so many other people. And all I've been able to reach, get to is that I ain't got to prove nothing to anybody. Okay. And if they're going to want to get up in my face and say, Klein, you're a liar. You never went, blah, blah, blah. And I say to them, I said, okay, that's fine. Guess what? I don't care whether you believe me or not. Guess what else? I ain't got to prove shit to you. But you know what you have to do now? The burden is now in your lap. You know why? Because you have challenged me. You are now the challenger, and it is now your time to go looking and prove me wrong. I dare you to try to prove me wrong, sir. So there you go. That's my story. I want it told. I want everybody in that house to know. And if you ever hear from Margaret, please tell her to call me. She got so pissed off at me again, Joe. I said something she didn't like, and she unfriended me from Facebook, and that was that. Now, I ran into Jenny Crabtree. I don't know if you remember her or not. George and her dated together for a while, and Margie and I, see, George didn't have, he either lost his license or something happened, and he, we just double dated. So imagine that big boy in the back of my CUDA. Yeah, it's like crazy, right? Crazy. But anyway, you said you were going to call a couple times. You never did. I don't sleep well at night because I always have something going on. And my YouTube channel, Django, Jew because I'm Jewish, and Django because instead of using bullets, I use words. I have Tourette's apparently, and Tourette's patient can't control themselves, and they can piss some people off, man. Piss some people off. And what I do is I go around shaking people's trees, meaning if I think they're lying about something, I'm going to get in there and challenge them, and I'm going to drive them crazy while I do it. You best believe that. All right, brother. Take care. I love you always. And call me back. Call me back. All right. Later on. 301-674-1053. Later, bro.